Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Ben. I would
Uh,
like you to introduce yourself before we start about the study abroad.
Okay, my name is Benjamin Washington. I'm alumni from USCB. I graduated back in 2020 with a studio art degree and a minor in film.
Okay, wonderful. So I know you participated in two, not just one, but two study abroad.
Yes,
Talk a little
yes.
about that.
So the first study abroad, I've always wanted to study abroad. I remember when I came and did the orientation at USCB, and I saw you, and I saw the French study abroad program you asked. So once I saw that, I was like, I'm gonna do this. Eventually, I was allowed the financial compensation to do so. So I went, and the first trip it was a huge culture shock. I did not expect Paris to look the way it looked, and just the whole lifestyle of European countries really changed my perspective of how I view the US. It's so different. So everything they do there's a lot of things they do down there that are different. There's a lot of opportunities they have that we don't have. Vice versa, there's a lot of opportunities we have that they don't. And it really opened my eye up that there are more options out there in the world for us through education and careers and all sorts of stuff because of cultural differences.
And this is with friends. Now, what places during the
Yes.
first trip we traveled a little all over France? Do you remember some of
Hmm.
these trips?
I remember Saint Mont Michel.
Mont Saint Michel.
That was that was the biggest one I remember. London was nice, but I really remember a lot of Mont Michel.
hmm Okay, and then after that, the second trip, which was in 2019.
Hmm. The second trip in 2019, we were allowed to see Strasbourg, which
hmm
is a blend of German and French. Mostly from what I saw, it was
hmm
mostly German culture over there.
And different, we also went to Bordeaux.
Bordeaux, yes, we also went to Bordeaux to go check out a wine cellar, which was really neat because France is really famous for their wine. To see how they make it, and how they distill it, and with a chateau, that was really interesting,
Yes. And
really neat.
also, for both programs, we had joint programs with the University of Paris,
Hmm.
Nanterre, in Institut Technologie. They're like MIT version there with
Hmm.
engineering students. And you toured the school. Tell us about the
Hmm.
value of that joint classes.
Well, I feel like because with my degree in the arts, it was really great meeting those students because the things they can do with those industrial machines. You know, maybe one day if I want to create some grandeur sculpture or some kind of craft that requires those machines, I'm still in connection with those students today, and we can possibly work on collaborate on a project, use my creative designs, and then they can use their equipment to create something beautiful. I've always thought that was neat.
Yes, and beyond the joint classes, I think you were able to continue meeting with them even after the
Yes.
joint classes.
Yes, after the classes we met up and we went out for drinks, and we had long conversations. The conversations were great. Really great. We told each other, we're talking to each other about like how our country is compared to theirs. And
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about, the current situation in the United States and how it affects them. I still keep in contact with them today.
Yes,
We'll talk every now and then.
yes, that's wonderful. Now, another question, and before I go to the other question, I'm just going to share some pictures of what
Oh,
we were there.
yes.
This was the Arc de Triomphe, and you were there with those students. And here is another
Such a nice
picture
day out that
of
day.
you. You are in this picture right there of the Tour Eiffel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? These are pictures that we've used for our university. And we did a side trip. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That was a side
Big
trip.
Ben.
You are right there in London.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm showing these pictures, tell me about the value of study abroad to your. And I love this picture, by the way, with the roses.
Oh yeah, that was a nice day. That was our first day.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it was
Tell,
nice out that day.
tell us about the value of study abroad with your education, your
Well,
career.
the that well, it as cliche as it sounds, it really does open up your horizons. You see the different possibilities and how like societies are run. Um,
Yes.
their education programs are a little bit different than ours.
Mm-hmm.
What I like the most about going to France was that a lot of them how English the English language is really pushed onto them. We
Yes.
didn't have to barely speak any French with them because they all knew English. So it made me realize like how lucky I am to already be speaking English and to know it because the rest of the world they're trying really hard to learn it so they could work with us.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And the
another
effort,
way,
yes, go ahead.
another way, it broadened my horizons was how their school system there is mostly paid for by it's the government tries to help out as much as it can there
Mm-hmm.
to pay for the finance for schooling. Some people they're allowed to go to school for free, and it's very rare where you come out of pocket like we do for a lot of money. So I remember a student from the classes, she was telling me how like it's a good thing, but it can also be detrimental because most of the kids there they don't take the schooling as serious as we do because it's just handed to them. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll go and try it out and they'll probably easily flunk out because they don't care. As for us, we come out of pocket with the money that goes to the university, so we're more inclined to work harder and to make that money invested worth it. That was a huge difference I noticed.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
And I am so glad that you were able to take this opportunity to do those two study abroads.
Hmm.
So we would like to thank you because we think that these experiences you're sharing can help students in the future
Hmm.
when they're making
Hmm.
plans for their education.
Yes.
Okay, one last comment from you about something that you learned there that just was not something commonly known here in the United States, in France. Something you learned in France while you were doing your study abroad. It could be maybe traveling in the subway,
Random.
metro.
Tomas told me some lady got hurt and then she was gonna have to call the ambulance. I was like, that's gonna be expensive. He was like, what? No, it's only like 7 to 8 euros for an ambulance ride. I was like, oh my gosh, 7 to 8 euros for an ambulance ride to the hospital. I thought that was insane because here, it's gonna be a couple hundred of dollars for an ambulance ride, but there it was only seven euros for an ambulance ride. I was so shocked by that. I was really shocked by that.
Yes. So all this different in we're so focused on our world, but
Hmm.
travel abroad opens the perspective for all our students so that they see
Hmm.
not everything is the way it is here in the United States.
Yeah, yeah, and not everything is the same, but I noticed that like certain jobs around the world are all the same. So if you like, there's certain career professions that you can go into that can be used internationally. It's all the same thing, such as stock markets. You can go to France and do stocks, and how that could come in handy when choosing a career if you want to work internationally. Is choosing that one career that every society is going to need.
Mhm. Well, thank you very much, Ben,
You're welcome.
and let's have another chat, okay?
Okay, sounds good.